David and Dave, I wish you'd spin again. I'll supply the gauge. I wanna hear you getting drunk on rosé. I need some David and Dave.
Dave's of Thunder is taped before a live studio audience.
Dave, 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 Dave. Dave, 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 Dave. Dave, Dave, and Dave. Dave, Dave, and Dave. David and Dave, Dave, David and Dave.
All right, hello, podcasters. I hope all's well wherever you are. It's your old pal Dave Damashek here. David Feeney over there. Welcome to episode whatever of Dave's of Thunder. David Feeney, happy belated Father's Day. How are you?
And to you, Bubba, you shaved the beard. What'd you do? You look great.
I took it tight. I'm like Don Johnson,
Why?
a.k.a. Sonny Crockett, circa 1984.
Why'd you do that? Was that your wife's decision or was that your decision?
No, I took out the shears. You know what? Maybe it did have something to do with you, David Feeney, because you
Go ahead.
Well, you noted that I had some grays popping out in the beard.
Oh my God, that was a joke. I barely saw the salt and that pepper.
Well, I'm not opposed to the salt and pepper. You understand? I would be fine, especially with the white panels, like Paulie Walnuts and other ones.
Like Daddy. Look at Daddy. Daddy's got white. This
you got
is
him. I think
all new.
You know who else has those? George Clooney, and he's a coxman to beat all. So I don't think I think that's good company to be in.
Did your father have gray hair when you were a kid?
No, he had. I don't. As far as I know, I don't think he's ever put the stuff into it, the shoe polish or otherwise, into his head of hair. He held on to his hair color pretty long into life. Now it's pretty much all gone. But yeah, he grew up.
When did he lose his hair? I forget that because my father's been bald since like 29, since he was 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
No,
I was 4, by the way. He had me that young, which is crazy.
And it's little things like that, for better or worse, that you don't like to see your father's, his existence being challenged a little bit like that. Was that an issue for young David Feeney to realize that? Well, you knew your father was mortal.
Oh, the fact that because he was losing his hair going gray, that one day he was going to take the nap? Well, sure, I guess. I didn't quite think of that way. I just hope, God Almighty, I hope that I don't go as bald as he does. He did the sweep across, my father, and he looked great. He looked great doing it. What's weird is that, like I said before, when he was my age, I was 20.
That's what's hard.
20 when he was my, like, how old were you when your father was 50? Dave Damashek just turned 50, by the way. He was a great birthday, great time.
My old man was 33, and as he texted me on my birthday, or maybe he mentioned to me,
you were 17 when he was 50.
Okay, right.
That's about right?
Like, that sounds right.
That math, Donovan. What about that, buddy?
My old man, the lifelong Jew, he pointed out to me, said when he was 66 and I was 33, he said, "You're Jesus's age." This would be the one time in our lives that he would be exactly twice as old as I am. So I remember that part about it. But yeah, I think he skewed a little older than some of my pals' fathers did. I blow that away. I mean,
Oh, sure. He was a doctor for what teams again? Forgive me for forgetting.
The Pittsburgh Penguins and the Pitt Panthers football and basketball.
Did you ever see him do a lick of work for those teams, or was he always just was it always just about the seats?
No, the booty was for young Dave was my old man was always conscientious about this. I always got I had every player's autograph, and as you know, I still have all those autographs. I had every name guy who played in Pittsburgh for the Penguins and for Pitt, Marino and Hugh Green and Tony Dorsett and all those guys. Yeah, I had all their signatures.
Where are those autographs? Are they on the walls?
I have them framed. Yeah, I have them like all framed. Yeah, I think you've seen it before.
No, I've seen your wall, which is fantastic. I don't remember that many, and this is me being serious. I don't remember that many autographs. I remember pictures. I remember like the Muhammad Ali fighting Superman, those kind of things. I don't remember a lot of autographs.
Well, I'll show them to you sometime. But yeah, the thing
invite me over first.
The misstep was, we'll get to that this decade. Sorry, it's the 19 RSVPing on your behalf. It's not, believe me, you're welcome at any point. Hey, but for today, we want to hear, let me just say this.
Hold on, we're not done talking about your dad real quick. Can I ask one more question about him before we go on?
You may.
Do you ever see him, because one of the things I think would be great about being a doctor and also being the son of a doctor, you get to see him in emergency situations. You guys are at a restaurant, let's say, and someone's choking. Is there a doctor in the house? He raises his hand.
I do remember. Yes, I do know that he once was we were once on an airplane and they asked if there was a doctor on the flight, and I don't remember what he had to do with that.
David, don't raise your hand.
The moment when I watched him when he was the Pitt, he was the Pitt football doctor. But he wasn't their orthopedist, you understand. So it wasn't like he had to be on hand. Oh, so-and-so, Marino tweaked his knee. Doc, check it out. The two stories that I have about him as the Pitt doctor were, one, in, I think it was 86, he and I made the trip. So he was the orthopedist, so he didn't have to be at the games. He would give them their preseason physicals and everything else. A doctor like you and I might have, a general practitioner.
He had a fortune. Go ahead.
And so we went. So once a year, he would go on a road trip with the Pitt team, just mostly out of pleasure, but to develop to build the relationships and so on.
I'm a man. I know why he went. Go ahead.
Good times with Ironhead Hayward and everything. That's why he's still a man. But yeah, so we went to Purdue, Ross-Ade Stadium, and they had Jeff George, don't you know, at the time before he transferred, and Rod Woodson.
To Illinois?
Not Purdue. Well, he went to Illinois after he went to Purdue.
I'm to Purdue.
But we went to this game at Purdue where Rod Woodson, who was soon to be drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers, would be a handful of months later on. The two stars of that Purdue team, and they quickly jumped out to a 14-0 lead on the Pitt Panthers. Final score, I believe, was 42-21. Pitt Panthers. They rallied quickly and overcame that. But in the fourth quarter of that game, the starting QB, the man who succeeded Dan Marino, John Kangemi, a man with whom, humble brag, I'm still in touch to this day. I reconnected with him as a grown-up. He does stuff for the Dolphins at this point, but he was the starting quarterback for Pitt. And in the middle of the blowout, he was still the starting quarterback, but the defense was out on the field. And I in heaven, you can imagine a child, Dave, the child watching from the sidelines, surrounded by Pitt Panthers. It was heaven for me, down on the grass field. And I was looking around, where's the old man? And I turn around and he's sitting over on the bench in Kangemi, the starting quarterback, in his ear. So I go, well, like what's the old man telling him something he noticed about the Boilermakers nickel D or something? What's he doing? No. He's breaking down his most recent round of golf for John Kangemi. It's a game. These are two major college football programs. And my old man's telling him, and then you know how a dog legs on number 7. So I hit it up there. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you talking? He's in the middle of a football game. You can't be telling him about his golf shots. And Kangemi, I remember, this is collegiate John Kangemi. He's like, oh, it's all right. I brought it up to him 20 years later. And he said, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, what am I supposed to say to him? He's telling me about his golf shots. I'm kind of like, hey, I'm kind of in the middle of something, Doc.
Was that on purpose? Was he trying to get his mind off the game, off the pressure of the game? Was he like crapping his pants about the game? He's like, you know what I'll do? I'll distract him by talking about the 14th hole.
Yeah, he was. That's what he was doing. He was playing.
How do you know? Your dad's as smart as a whip. I mean, if he was talking about Ted Williams, then I would get your point. In the fourth inning.
The other good one was in
war tie. Yeah, I got it, Doc.
Shame the devil if you wear a Red Sox cap and my old man shows up. It does not matter. He's going to bend your ear whether you want it or not.
I like him. I like him a lot. Does he talk about me? Does he bring me up? Does he ask?
Of course he does. Of course he does. The other good one was in 82 when Marino was going into his senior season. A lot of Heisman hype. The Heisman favorite, in fact, in many quarters. And we had gone to their August camp, which was at Edinburgh Community College, a couple hours north of Pittsburgh, where they always did their August camp. And one of the trainers said, "Hey, so-and-so player isn't feeling well. Do you mind after dinner?" We were in the cafeteria of the dorm. Do you mind after dinner if you would go up there and check on him? Well, as it turns out, the football player was the roommate of one Dan Marino. So we make our way up to his dorm room, and we knock on the door, and who is it? And it's Dr. Damashek. I heard you're not feeling well. Just a sec, Doc. And you heard a commotion, scrambling around, voices, female voices even behind the door. What's going on back there? Finally, the door opens, and a cloud of funny smelling smoke I'd never smelled before wafted past me, and two local co-eds made their way out of the dorm room. I sat the roommate and Dan Marino. "Hey, how you doing there, Doc?" "Yeah, I'm having some stomach issues," or whatever said this guy, and that was the story. And then in the 83 draft, we got more than one call at the Damashek house from NFL teams asking, "What's the story about Marino?" There are many rumors going around about his off-the-field stuff, and we need to hear it from somebody on the inside.
Is that why he went so late in the first round? Because he was
No. The old man didn't spill. He's not.
What did he say? No.
He ain't a snitch.
Last year, is this the thing? We finally find out. We finally get to the bottom of this thing. Why Marino went so high?
He's without stitches. But yes, the reason that he fell so far to 27 to Shula and company was because there were many rumors about what 13 liked to do with his free time.
I don't believe it. Wow.
That's absolutely true. Sure, yeah.
Oh, no, I believe that, of course. But the fact that your father was intricately involved in this thing is pretty interesting.
The old man, though, I'll tell you this. I've said it many times before, and I'll say it to you again. The best thing about the old man isn't that he was in the business of life extension, which obviously was the name of the game in oncology, not saving lives so oftentimes, unfortunately, but extending the lives. And as noble and awful as that stuff is, the greatest thing I ever heard about the old man was on one trip to the hospital that I made with him when I was a little kid. Two people, a janitor and a woman from behind the cafeteria counter separately, came up to me to say, "Do you know your father, of all the doctors that work in this hospital, your father's the only one who always stops to ask me how I'm doing and is nice to me and is good to me and treats me so kindly." And
Angie was usually on her leg, but still. Yeah.
I mean, you know what? She had no complaints. So, no, but that's the best thing I can say about the old man.
I mean, he's a great guy, and I hope you tell him these things to his face or over the computer anyway. Did you talk to him on Father's Day? Did you talk to him?
Well, we had a hard time tracking him down. We had a good time. We had a big wiffle ball game over here at the house. You've been invited to him. You've yet to show up, and that's just as well because you would no doubt embarrass
I'm spectacular at it.
Oprah and Jean-Claude Van Damashek's old man would get shown up by a guy with a receding hairline.
Same way I've showed you up in football. I'm excellent.
You know what? I hereby
you throw a pretty ball, but it's never accurate. It's a beautiful ball.
That's absolute. No, that's not why I didn't make it to Division I.
Beautiful ball. I'm not saying it's not a tight spiral that points down. I'm just saying you miss your mark by 4 feet every time.
I don't know about that, but what I can tell you is the reason I didn't get any Division I offers or get drafted in the NFL was Damashek's issue. Damashek
ruined your career like you did Marino's.
You think Marino looks like a saint next to this Damashek punk? Why are you saying that about your own kid, old man?
I just like the Patriots about to draft Marino instead of Tony Easton. He's like, I don't know. Like they called Dave Damashek's father. They called Lee Damashek, and that was it.
Ken O'Brien, to the Jets. They could have had Marino. They could have had
Who was the other one? Oh, Elway, of course.
Elway number 1, and Todd Blackledge was also ahead of Marino. Imagine that.
Elway's the right choice there, still, right? Elway's the right choice.
If it's a fun question to ask is if you could turn everybody, not knowing how good they were going to end up being, right. Only if you knew them at the age of 21 and you saw them at the combine and whatever, who would be the number 1 overall pick in NFL history? They're all 21 years old. Generally speaking, people will say it was John Elway. it's John Elway. That without knowing how good they ended up being, like Jamarcus Russell was a bust and projected to be a star. But if you put everybody, if you only knew what you had on tape from them through college, who would be the number one pick? People.
What about knowing everything? Who would be the number one pick? Knowing everything about their careers. It wouldn't be 12.
Might be 30. It wouldn't be 12. That's what's fascinating about it.
No, you could read. I'm saying, like, even now, looking at the rings, looking at everything, it still wouldn't be 12.
That's right, and that's what's intriguing about it. You in the NBA, I mean, it might be Kareem or Akeem or Shaq or whatever. It's center, but for non-centers, for guys 6'10" and under, it would be now. If you redrafted it, people would say, "Well, of course, it's Michael Jordan or maybe LeBron." One or the other, you'd make that case. In baseball, it would be Barry Bonds or it would be Mike Trout. But in football, the guy who is nominally and with very little debate, the best to ever play the sport is Tom Brady. And there is zero chance, if you gave 32 NFL GMs the chance to redraft, taking anybody they want, they would never take Tom Brady. Nobody would take Tom. Who would take Brady, even knowing what you know now? Nobody would. It's crazy. It's really weird.
But he'd be up there. He just wouldn't be number one. You're absolutely right. Here's my question to you: have you forgiven Barry Bonds? I know we haven't started the show yet, really, but have you forgiven Bonds?
We'll hit play in just a few. Get ready there.
You know what I mean. You haven't even said what we're doing. We haven't said hi to Donovan and Gary yet. We're probably 20 minutes in. But tell me just real quickly: have you forgiven Bonds?
I think, as a man of justice, that it's crazy that there's a Hall of Fame for baseball. And the guy with the most home runs isn't in the Hall of Fame, nor is the guy with the most hits, nor is the best pitcher of the last half century in Roger Clemens. What the hell is the point of the Hall of Fame then? What's the father showing to his boy? I got a special trip we got to take. We got to go. You got to learn about America's pastime, boy. Like, all right, let's go see the home run king. Well, he's not in here. Like, what the hell kind of place is it? But of all the cut your nose to spite your face moves, that's it. The writers who want this to be a prestigious place, like, well, how prestigious is it if the best players aren't in it?
Also, they're screwing up by not playing this year, right?
I don't know what's going to be with that. Yeah, it's a sport whose time has come and gone, and it's only digging its whole little bit deeper. Now, your Father's Day, more importantly, how was yours? You know what? That's my Father's Day gift to you.
Please.
I want to talk about the rest of this show, whatever you want to talk about. Whatever your pleasure, I want to talk about it.
This is a first for you, and I appreciate that. I want to talk about, well, I'll just say real quick, I hope my wife feels better. So my Father's Day, as you remember 2 years ago, the famous Father's Day, where I was home alone on the farm. But you took me out, and we went to the farmer's market. I had a great time. Now, my wife's the greatest person in the world. This is what happened. My poor girl, she had all these plans for Father's Day this year, all these plans, and she got sick. Poor girl has a stomach ache. Has the flu. So because of that, she was kind of in bed for most of Father's Day. It was just terrible. And she's finally coming out of it, thank God. But so most of my Father's Day was spent kind of with just with me and my daughter, and it was the greatest. It was the greatest.
What'd you do?
Last week. You met her last week. She's just the best little girl.
Yeah.
And that was bliss. That was the best. Hanging out.
What'd you do?
It was the best. We swam. We went swimming. We went for a drive. We read. We just did everything. We just played the whole thing.
Very fun, although then you have to do all the tedious minutia involved with parenting. And that's no fun.
What do you mean?
Like, you had to make all three of the meals of the day and all the snacks if the wife was laid up and everything.
I split that anyway. I think we do a good job. You don't do that at the house?
We split it. I don't want to do all of it.
Your father you are. That's what I want to talk about. How lazy you are. You don't make dinners at all? You don't make breakfasts? You make lunch, you make snacks? Do you work with them with the homework? What do you do?
I'm working on the most important item upstairs. That's what I'm teaching.
Counting autographs.
I do plenty for them bums. What do you want to talk about?
That to me was so that was great. Obviously, we missed Jennifer on that Sunday, but it was my daughter and I had a gay old time, and so that was good. And so you had all four kids under your roof playing wiffle ball?
We played some wiffle ball. Beth sent out for some delicious barbecue I'd never had before.
That's unlike her. She usually makes a good feast for you.
She does make delicious foods, but on this occasion, she brought in some nice baby backs, if you please, and so we feasted and we wiffle balled. It was an all-American Father's Day, and it was a good time. we do now, to your earlier point, what's coming up now that we're whatever we are 20 minutes or so into this episode.
Gary and Donovan, how far are we into, Ben? First of all, introduce yourself, Gary and Donovan. We have guests.
Hey, guys. Happy Father's Day. We are 20 minutes in. You are exactly right.
And to you, Gary. Gary's first Father's Day demonstration.
Thank you.
What'd you guys do?
We did the tour of Southern California. We went down and saw my old man in the morning, and we came back, and my wife's family all came over here in the afternoon.
They came over?
Yeah.
With masks and everything? Social distancing, or is that out the door?
No, backyard, social distance in both instances, through the side gate, and everyone keep your distance, and, that
and the whole family gathered around while Gary and Joya made baby number 2 for this Father's Day.
Here's my question with that, though. Here's a way. What if your father and everybody there has to make? What happens?
Well,
I'm not sure why you went to Donovan. Do you have a say? What happens when people come over?
We planned ahead a little bit on that, and everyone just sort of tried their best to not have that be the instance. And then we cleaned the bathroom, something fierce. And once we were outside, myself and my wife and my child didn't go in at all. And if anyone, luckily it didn't happen, but if anyone had to go in and deal with something like that, they would be going straight shot into a bathroom that's highly sanitized and then straight back out. I don't know.
What did you get for your first Father's Day present? What was it?
My wife got me and my son very cute matching shirts. Mine had a Batman silhouette on it, and his had a Robin silhouette, and we wore those.
This guy! I got to see that picture.
I can pull one up.
Post that picture.
I'll pull one up and I'll share it right now. Just give me a moment here.
We can do it all. We don't have to do it. Dan Mashek, what did you get for presents, buddy? Because you have older kids. Your older kids, I'm sure, did something really nice.
I got a gaggle of homemade gifts. Jean-Claude Van Damme sent out. The one store-bought gift was I got a new mug, and it says on it, world's best, and then farter. But then farter is crossed out, and underneath it says father. So
I like that got Donovan. That cracked Donovan finally made a sound.
But otherwise, it was a bunch
Dave and I are busting our ass for 20 minutes.
But we made. But it was all a bunch of paintings and handprints and.
What did Oprah get? Oprah's the oldest. What did Oprah get?
Well, she's quite an artist. I mean, a legitimate fine artist. But she made me coasters for each of the 4 kids with little pictures embedded. I don't know exactly what the material is, but somehow it's embedded underneath the polyurethane or whatever kind of a thing. And very clever, very very handsome items that one day perhaps
it's a lot of pressure, if I may say. Oh, how great. Look at the kid.
Awesome. Look at them nice fat legs.
Donovan, you're missing out, buddy.
I know I am. I know.
Get one of those.
It's the best.
All right.
It's the best.
I'd like, with no offense to your little boy, it'd be great if you could put Donovan's face on top of that baby.
Or just take a picture with Donovan in the same outfit you holding him.
All right.
But the coaster, it's a wonderful thing, the coaster. Is it a drag, though, to have your birthday so close to Father's Day every year? Be honest.
No, it's not one of those Christmas things, although I do feel bad for people who are born on I think the worst would be December 26th, right? Because at least if you're like the 23rd, there's still the but if it's the 26th or 27th, people are like, what the hell, man? I just don't have the energy for it.
That's my old friend Tim. My old friend Tim, maybe you've heard me talk tale with him. My old friend Tim, born December 27th.
Oh, no.
After Christmas. He didn't like it none. He didn't like it at all.
Another tough hand.
December 15th.
Yeah.
That's all right, though. That's not great.
It's tough.
Whose birthday's the 15th?
Me. It's tough as a kid. It's fine now. It's tough as a kid because, getting a group of kids together 10 days before Christmas is tough. But, yeah, I don't know.
Is this the kind of thing you would talk about on Drink Water, Donovan?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is the kind of topic thing. Can we get
This is hot water cooler stuff. We did this.
Hot drunk drink. How was the show last week that I wasn't invited on?
It was very good, and I still would love to have you on. I'm going to give you a date, though. I'm not going to give you the open invitation. I'm going to email you a solid.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you really want him to be on, obviously the no invite is Anytime you want to, do it, man.
I'm trying not to do that.
Magically appear on your to call in magically at just the right time to be a part of it.
It worked with Check.
I love Damashek. As you know, I'm a big fan of his work. Damashek, big fan. But with these other shows that we've been about, he's an anchor. I want to come. I just want to sail in your show. Leave him home.
Oh, I was terrific on my water cooler experience. I thought it was great. In fact, I could use another.
What'd you list? Tell me.
I don't even remember. I know it was magical. I think I listed the people on water cooler that I was more talented than, or something.
80s hits. You listed 80s hits.
I don't know what I did.
I'm sure you list songs. You list like hits from the 90s, hits from the 80s, hits from the 70s.
I think that's an interesting subject for David Feeney.
What?
The
I was right then.
No, I don't remember. Yeah, we'll go. Yes, you're right. 100%. That's what I talked about. I'd like to hear about
5 bedrooms in Encino.
What I find interesting is David Feeney, this man who somehow determined, despite, like we've talked about, king of the nerds, the only one to even talk to a girl by the age of 21, let alone put his mouth on them.
Who? Moi?
You were the coolest guy.
Not the coolest guy by any means.
Out of that group, you were. But it's interesting. What kind of music is David Feeney keen on?
We've talked about this. So if I'm making pages, I listen to swing music.
I don't think we've ever talked about that.
That's absolutely. I listen to swing.
You listen to swing?
I do. It's I don't want to plug Sirius, but we can plug Sirius XM. I listen to the 40s Junction when I'm making pages. When I'm sleeping, I listen to classical. Right, so that's easy. And then when I'm driving in the car, when I used to drive in the car, it's sometimes I listen to the 70s on 7, 80s on 8, 60s on 6. I listen to that classic vinyl, classic rewind, and that's it.
You're not a big right. So suffice to say, you're not a big music guy.
No, I'm not a big music guy. Music's always playing in the house, but I'm not a big music guy. Not like you.
Swing music.
Oh, it's the best. The best. Have you ever listened to swing music there?
Of course. I lived in Los Angeles in the early part of the 21st century.
I'm not talking about Zoot Suit Riot, whatever those songs are. I'm talking Benny Goodman. It's great. It's great.
What is going to be that in 2020, this little window of time that we're in? I was talking to name drop Adam Carolla about this very subject, that when swingers, the influence of swingers was so vast for some reason on 20-somethings. Remember in like 2001, it would have been right around the time we met. And so it would have been when you and I would go to like the 3 of Clubs or somewhere like that, some like kind of hip place. Everybody, like 2/3 of the guys dressed like they would dress in zoot suits with like the chain thing for their
the chain from the wallet to the belt was something that you and I always talked about. How incredible!
What the hell? What a ridiculous costume!
Yeah, it's really nuts. But it just was insane. That's not what you and I did.
What happens to those
people? I remember you wearing back then always a pirate's hat, always a vest. Damashek was always wearing a vest.
That's right.
It was
big vest guy.
It was great. Vest and also Damashek.
Secondhand shops. Yeah, I would go find 3-piece suits. Can I just get the vest for $1? That was my move.
It was the vest, and it was also the ski tags. The old ski tags he had on the zipper of the vest.
Yeah, love that. Love that too.
Skiing. It was boy. I don't know what I did. I don't know why I was attracted to you back then, but I was.
The old man, but before that, what was that? 2 decades, can't do math. 2 decades prior to that, Dallas was the huge hit in American society, and it permeated beyond just the tube TV, and people started to dress like cowboys, like J.R. Ewing, and the old man had a white 10-gallon hat. Yes, he did. He never wore it that I can recall, but he got himself one because it was the fad. And I remember in the I'm trying to think of what game it would have been. There's a playoff game, the AFC title game, January of 1980. Pop Stargell has just won the World Series a couple of months before, and they cut away to him in the stands at Three Rivers, and there he is in a gigantic 10-gallon hat. Pop Stargell.
Just great. Are you from Pittsburgh?
You know what? I am born and raised.
No, but you're not really from Pittsburgh. You're from like the suburbs of Pittsburgh.
No,
if Pittsburgh's like here, where are you from? Pittsburgh wasn't on the postmark.
Yes, it was Pittsburgh, PA.
You were in the suburbs of it, right? Pittsburgh's here. Where were you?
I was from the eastern side of Pittsburgh.
You lived downtown Pittsburgh.
Not downtown. No, I wasn't flanked by skyscrapers or steel mills.
But it was if you want to write to me, I have a Dave Damashek, your old address, and it was Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It wasn't Aliquipper.
With no traffic, it would take 11 minutes door to door from my home to the Igloo.
And but you were from Pittsburgh. Okay, great. I mean, I'm not from Boston. I'm a fan of Boston. I'm not from Rhode Island. I'm in a Boston. No shame.
I have no reason to lie to you here, but yes,
you have every reason. What a great beard. You shaved it yourself.
Listen, this is what you want to talk about. I've given you the keys.
By the way, I'm so sorry. Forgive me. I set up your 80s songs panel. I set that up pretty well.
You did set that up, and we have to get to. I'm sorry, Don, didn't I set that up artfully? His 80s panel.
It was right there.
Well, I do.
It was right there. It was right there. It was in your head.
Something that I've loved to do over the years. And I'd like to revisit it now with one of the best is my favorite thing in the greatest hit maker, the least celebrated big time hit maker in our lives is Billy Ocean. Billy Ocean had 5 or 6 monster hits, and yet no one ever talks about Billy Ocean anymore. And it's one of the best song lyrics. If you take the melody out of a lot of songs, I've observed that it will reveal some really creepy lyrics that are out there. And in fact, by the way, you know the podcast, maybe you don't, Pardon My Take, very popular podcast out there. PFT commenter, a funny guy, was just weighing in on Neil Diamond's Sweet Caroline, and it's about a child, and it's very creepy. And then that reminded me, so I sent to him the story that you hit me to, that George Lucas wanted Dr. Jones' backstory to include a love affair with an 11-year-old Marion.
11, 12, or 13. It was something like that. It was 11, it
starts out as 11.
Young.
Well, 15's maybe a little too old. She's got to be young, so he's got some edge to
read the transcript, but it's very funny. Just like, anyway, so I think he sees Marion. They had a relationship back in the day. That's great. And George Lucas, so it's Spielberg and Lawrence Kasdan, the great writer and great director, kind of listening in. And George Lucas is just laying out this story. It's amazing. Anyway, and so you got to get the medallion. That's amazing. He runs into Ravenwood's old daughter, Marion. Good. Oh, cool. A love interest. No, they used to have an affair. That's amazing. He was like 30. Cool. She was 11. Huh? Like you could read a pin drop. And they're like, yeah, maybe that's not the best idea.
I don't know, George. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think
13. If it's 13 or 15, I won't do the movie. They're like, nah, there's a way to do that. It's just very. But then if you watch the scene, as I've said, it's all there. They just don't say it. I was a child. I was in love. It was wrong, and you knew it.
You knew what you were doing.
He goes, you knew what you were doing. You can only say I'm sorry so many times. Say it again. Do you know what you've done to me in my life? Yeah, he committed sexual assault.
And now you live in Tibet and defeat large guys in drinking games. So yeah, then that reminded me of Neil Diamond. That another creepy thing with Diamond is, do you know that "Turn On Your Heart Light" is a tribute song? Are you aware of the distinction here?
Yes, we've discussed that.
We have. Okay, we talked about that before.
Yeah, we get ready. Go ahead. Let's hear it.
It was not a commission song. This was not Spielberg or otherwise saying, "Hey, hitmaker Diamond, make a song about this." No, he just loved the movie so much. On his way home, he said, "Swing by the studio, and I'm going to track Turn On Your Heart Light." In the heart of a young boy's dream. What a weirdo. Go ahead. Get your shots in.
Some Scorpion, please, Gary.
That is one hell of a woman.
I'm not going to apologize. That was a good. That was a wonderful star turn by me, as a matter.
And it paid you very well. I'm not going to lie.
But that reminded me. So something that I've done over the years, and I don't think you and I have ever really talked about it. I love to break down song lyrics, and Billy Ocean comes to mind because I love the song lyric. One of his jollier hits, one of his more upbeat ones was "Get out of my dreams, get into my car."
Right.
What the hell is the sentiment of that song? He's just rolling up on somebody, and without the melody behind it, it's not as charming, is it?
Get out of my dream, get into my car. I mean, that was for the movie License to Drive, starring your Corey Haim. Get
out of my dreams.
Right. Get
into my car.
Yeah.
That was strange.
I say, hey, you, get out of my. Yeah.
Better drive fast before the black and white roller rolls up on you there, Billy Ocean. Because
Billy Ocean was great. Billy Ocean was great.
Suddenly you're in love. Also, he did Jewel of the Nile.
Caribbean Queen. Love Don't Work Without You. Then it's
Jewel of the Nile when the tough get going. Yeah. Danny DeVito.
What's the movie that's to?
Jewel of the Nile.
Jewel of the Nile. That's right. Very good. Very good. What a lousy sequel that was.
Oh, it really was very bad.
Romancing the Stone is one of the better movies. It's really, really, really entertaining.
I guess I can sign off on that. Yeah, it is a great picture. But my favorite one is one of my favorites is, and it works. I thought I'd bring it up to you here because Phil Collins, a hit maker, non-parallel for a stretch there. And Philip Bailey, who I think was in Earth, Wind, and Fire.
That's right. Oh, I know what song you're talking about, yeah.
Two guys named Phil sang a song called Easy Lover, and it's about the same woman. And the premise is, so Easy Lover, she'll get a hold on you, believe it. It's like no other. Before you know it, you'll be on your knees.
Right.
She'll take your heart, but you won't feel it. She's like no other. I'm just trying to make you see. She's the kind of girl you dream of keeping hold of. You'd better forget it, though, because you'll never get it. She is going to play around and leave you. She's going to leave you and deceive you. You better forget it, or you're going to regret it. This is the warning that Phil Collins is giving to Philip Bailey, that simultaneously Philip Bailey gives back to Phil Collins. So these two Phils are pals. I would like to think that if it were Dave and Dave singing this song to each other, one of us would have had this woman and been like, stay the hell away. What is the upshot of this song? They both had this woman. They were both devastated by it, and they both made their love on her and then were rejected, and now they see fit to warn each other, or are they just now real? You were with her too? I think it's a crazy premise for a song. They're issuing a warning about a woman who they both made love on and then got burnt by. Who then is the song for?
Is it for the listener? Are the two of them talking to a third party that we don't know about, which is kind of interesting? By the way, the words you're saying are kind of reminiscent of the things you told me about Jennifer before I married her in Hawaii.
That was just in my toast.
You did the toast.
But that was when I was doing Phil Collins. That was
That's right. There was a British accent in there.
I did a little accent. I didn't want to.
I didn't know
the message with the impression. But
what I always took that song,
mate.
What I always took that song to be was two people who have had experience with a woman in the past. They had difficulties with, and they were sharing their advice to a third party.
It's a weird thing to sing a song about, isn't it?
I disagree. I think it's about love. It's about hate. It's about falling for the wrong person.
We were both emasculated. So their announcement to the world is, we both were bitten by this woman. Let's sing a song about that. How we were both emasculated by the same woman. Weird thing to try to make a catchy hit out of. No?
It is a weird song to sit down and try to write. Those lyrics is pretty interesting. I wonder if like whoever wrote it in 5 minutes, which is really funny to me.
The other one that
to your earlier point, it's an upbeat song. It's a fun song. The words do not connotate the music does not know what the song is really about.
You'll never change her, so leave it. Leave it. Get out quick. Seeing is believing. And Phil and I have both seen it, and we're warning each other, but it's too late for both of us. But if you come across this woman, this easy lover, stay away. Like, do they share friend? Do they have a mutual friend who has a date coming up on Friday night with this woman?
That's what I'm saying. Do you remember the video for that song?
Of course, they're in Paris, I think, right?
No, but like they're seeing each other. It's for a concert.
Right.
Like it's all like a whole making of concert of that song. It's well done. I loved it.
I think it's very
I remember about yesterday, but I know that song appeared on the album Chinese Wall. That's all I know. For some reason, I remember that. Gary, back that up for me, will you?
I think that's correct. I also love. Well, we'll do more of these later. But before we get to Feeney's, the ongoing melodrama of the letter writing campaign, Feeney.
Yeah, way to bury that lead, by the way, at the start of the show.
I was trying to bring it up, but you kept talking to me about this, that, and the other. You are correct. Chinese Wall is the name of the record, released in 1984. It was nominated for a Grammy for Best Pop Performance by a Duo.
Right.
I hope the person who announced the award was, in fact, the Easy Lover.
Donovan, for my birthday, which is in a month or so, can you please play that song for me?
I'll learn it.
Okay.
Really? Oh, no. Better yet, why don't you sing it with Gary?
That's even better.
You and Gary sing it to the two Daves. Why don't you do that? Serenade us. Tell us. Warn us off of this evil, easy lover.
Let's just let him make it his. Let him make it his own.
You're right.
He impressed me so much with Sheck in the 50s.
Yes, I was able to tweet that out, as was Donovan last week. It's a great hit, imagining Sheck in the 50s, and that's out there on social media if you want to check that out.
How come you don't tweet that anymore, Sheck in the 50s?
What are you talking about?
You don't know. How come you don't tweet out more Sheck in the 50s tweets?
I got to get on that. We look to the BTLs and Monkeys a lot for some help with social media stuff, and that's why we solicit calls and songs and otherwise. Some talented BTLs and or Monkeys out there, David Feeney, and we're the better for it. Gary, did we get any good voicemails? Tell everybody first of all, Gary, if you don't mind, how to track us down.
Absolutely, yeah. You can tweet us at the handle @DOT Podcast. You can go ahead and email us your art and your songs and so forth at davesofthunder.podcast@gmail.com. And you can leave us a voicemail at 812-682-0044. Wasn't a lot in the way of emails this week, but we did get a few voicemails here. Actually,
Gary's a harsh critic, by the way. Gary will cut you. If you just send him some inane email, it goes straight into the garbage bin, right?
Can I piggyback on that? It's a great point. You got to kiss Gary's ass in the beginning of the email. Always. You got to say something flattering about him.
It's nice.
If you can flatter his looks, that's even better.
It doesn't hurt.
Just like pain. All right. What do we have then, Gary? You have anything for us that's worth indulging here in our precious time?
Yeah, I mean, we got a voicemail. It actually, the way our voicemail system works, it cuts you off after a certain amount of time. So in reality, what should have been one voicemail turned into three that I thought you guys might be interested in. So like I said, because of the way the voicemail system works, it cuts the person off. But we can play these voicemails here, and when the first one ends, just know that there's two more coming. So with that said, I'll play the first one.
Well, wait, before you do, it's interesting because we haven't heard these yet. So maybe we'll end up cutting them, and then this whole lead up to it, who knows? And then we'll just get right to Feeney's letter writing campaign with JetBlue. But we're going to try to hear these letters first, right?
Yeah.
Damn it, you're handsome. You are good looking.
Never know. Here we go.
Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to tell you before you get to this. I forgot to tell you guys this. My boy here, my brave boy, there he is, Mr. Hoover. Hello, boy.
Hello.
This man here last night was on the wrong end. I have one of those pull-up bar things that, I just found in the garage and hung up over the door. It kind of hangs from the arch of the door. Come here, boy. What a cool T-shirt it is you got on.
And what happened with that bar?
Well, he tried. Well, what happened? What happened to the big bar?
It fell down on my head, and I got something on my head. I forgot what it is.
Put your head down so they could see.
Let me see, bud.
Couldn't you see in there?
Oh my goodness!
Right on top of his head, he screamed, and I said, "What's going on?" And I saw he had blood on the side of his head, and I looked close, and I realized that that it really cut a hole into his head, huh, Joe?
Wait, was there a hole?
There's no hole. I mean, it's like a little cut, but you have to get stitches. Do you think it will stay there forever?
Nope, they go take it out.
Yeah, I think it'll go away. Yeah. Anything you want to say to your friend David Feeney?
What's your favorite? Did you guys hang out on Father's Day, buddy? What'd you guys do?
What did we do for Father's Day?
We did a lot of things.
Oh, tell about, though, because Gary and Donovan live down by Long Beach. What did we go see? We went to the aquarium of the Pacific. What did we see when we were there?
We saw animals.
Did you pet one?
I pet a shark.
He pet a shark, this man. This guy put his...
Shark?
Yeah, he petted a shark and a bird.
Were you scared, buddy?
Were you scared?
Thing.
This head has been through a lot lately because it got hit by a bar last night and he had to go get stitches. And 2 days before that, when we were at the aquarium, you can go into this thing where you feed the birds, and a bird landed right on top of his head.
Oh, my God. I'm so sorry. How awful. Good to see you, bud.
Bye-bye. There he went off.
You can lock that door, right, buddy? Damn it. What if Donovan wants to work blue?
I do.
Boy may have just suffered a concussion for all we know. But yes, we'll keep him off. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Let's hear these. Let's hear these voicemails, shall we?
Here we go.
Hey, Days of Thunder. This is Jeremiah, better known as JH. Dave Damashek sent me a DM the other day just wishing me well-being, telling me that, his DDFP podcast was, going out with a bang. And so I just wanted to leave you guys a message because, I'm left listening to Days of Thunder now, which is great. And wanted to leave a story for you guys, just kind of piggybacking off of, the letters and just silly crap. And, with it being Dave's birthday last week. And so I wanted to tell you a story, a true story about Jeremiah here and his buddies when we were 17, and why I don't drink Mad Dog 2020. So me and all my buddies at a party, you figure 15 to 20 juniors and seniors in high school from the football team, just all hanging out, having a good time, chasing skirts and drinking some beers and everything. And young lady walks in, very nice looking girl. Everybody liked her, and she's got 2 bottles of Mad Dog 2020. I had never heard of it, from a small town in Tennessee. We were country boys. We fished and drank beer. Like, that's what we drink every now and then, Jim Beam and Mountain Dew. Like, that was what we did. But this lady showed up with Mad Dog 2020. Grape. So took a nice little swig of it. Man, it went down just like Kool-Aid. Shoot, never had an issue with it. So what did we decide to do? Hey, let's go get more. So we load up in the car. We go down to the country market down the road from us where, you don't need an ID to buy any alcohol. Plus, I've had a mustache and beard since 7th grade anyways. They never ID'd us. Grabbed about 7 more pints of the Mad Dog 2020, but this time we got the whole rainbow. We had grape and orange, and I think maybe strawberry or cherry.
I've had it. I had it. Party and if this was the Gong Show, I would have hit the gong by now. Oh my God!
You don't like the flavors of Mad Dog 2020
Lord
listed?
I'd rather listen about Phil Collins more than that. My goodness. Gracious. I'd rather listen to Damashek list all of the autographs on his wall than listen to that.
Lemieux, number 1. Cobra Dave Parker, number 2.
How many are fake, by the way? How many of those are fake? How many of those are your... How many of those are your... I just cut to you at 14, like, Dad, really, I want to get Pop Stargell. Don't worry about it, son. And then it's just him, like, doodling them down.
Look who I met. Yeah.
Right. Every time he comes by the house with Mo, it's like, honey, did you see it? It's still up there. The Pops is still up there. I know, Lee. I know. Let it go.
He's a 50-year-old man. Don't let him down now. All right, let's get so we're gonna pass on the rest of Jeremiah's letter.
It's not my fault.
No, indeed.
You tell me. You want to keep going? Donovan, Gary, vote, kids.
I'm good.
It doesn't.
You don't want any more?
It doesn't. That's kind of the high water mark.
And he didn't compliment Gary enough.
That was it. Look at Donovan.
Touché. Good point. See, that's what they call a callback. See that? That was good. All right. So
he's learning. He's learning. Drink water.
Now to the main event.
Does drink water pay the bills?
It pays for drinks, not the bills though.
So you don't say.
Look at him get another one in. That pays for drinks. Good for you.
So you don't set your table at night, but
I don't.
But the cocktail table you do. All right.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's get to it then. The main event, round 3 of the ongoing human drama that is David Feeney, nay, Dan Penny,
right,
Hollywood movie executive, writing letters to JetBlue claiming that Dan Penny, the movie executive, was riding in first class on a recent flight to JetBlue and
back
was
in November, right? Back in
November. And the note read what from a lady passenger?
It said F in the John, F in the John, F in the John question mark. So he had sex in the airplane back in November, going from San Francisco to Los Angeles, but he lost track of her. He didn't get to see her again. And now then he wrote JetBlue asking, and Damashek's leaving. I don't believe it. What happened? Where'd he go?
I don't know.
I don't know where he went.
Where's the old guy?
What's he doing?
What happened?
He forgot he was doing a podcast.
Was that boring? Was that too boring for you? Did I not set it up correctly, the microphone?
Oh, quiet. Let's go. Keep going. I was just closing the door.
And he emailed Dan Penny back in November or back in December, emailed JetBlue and said, hey, listen, can you help me find this mystery woman that I made love to on the plane? JetBlue responded, we don't do that, sir. And then he said, okay, fine, you leave me no choice. Another letter that I gotta get this guy named Snoop Godlewski, who's a PI in Los Angeles. He's going to help me out. And then, and then unfortunately, Snoop Godlewski then sold out Dan Penny and emailed JetBlue and said, you got to get this nut off my back, which is pretty funny. And then Dan Penny found out about that and emailed Dan Penny back. And this all happened last week. These are the reasons why you're full of it, and I'm going to sue you, and blah blah blah. And so that's and also don't forget that Dan Penny has a fiance named Megan, and they were pregnant at the first email, and the second email
when Dan Penny, when he was handed that note and met her 30,000 feet, joined the Mile High Club, his wife was pregnant, or his girlfriend was pregnant. Right. Okay.
Then they had a son, and he nicknamed him Snoops. Then he found out that Godlewski sold him out, and so he set up. So basically, Dan Penny and Gene Godlewski are really fighting. And the last time we checked in with our heroes, Gene Godlewski said, you still owe me for services rendered. Where's my money? And I think that's the first email that we have up there. That's
okay, great. And by the way, just an update for you. You've really outdone yourself. This might be the high water mark of your career. There are now Twitter handles that exist for both. Some BTLs and monkeys have created Twitter handles for both Dan Penny and for Snoop Godlewski.
Exactly. So this is what happened. So last time we saw them, Gary, put up that first email, page 1. Today's fine.
I was trying to pull up last week's. Here's a part.
This is a good burn because Eugene Godlewski had said to Dan Penny, "My name's not Snoops. Also, you're a weirdo." And then Dan Penny wrote back, "You are." And then Godlewski writes back, "That's a good burn. Where's the rest of my money?" G2 Godlewski investigation. It's between us. So where's the rest of my money is the last.
And these are all attached. And somebody at JetBlue is seeing this argument between Snoops and Dan.
Right. There's 2 crew members, two people named Michael and Stephanie who have been writing back and forth with these guys. Okay. But lately it's been dry. And so now, good burn, where's the rest of my money? And now here we go. Dan Penny to Eugene Godlewski. CC JetBlue on this. Seriously? Is the subject heading. I received an envelope today containing your final invoice for services rendered. My assistant said a man with a limp brought it by. I'm assuming he was your brother. He was not
Comments on the guy's appearance. That's weird.
Anyway, in the papers was this receipt from a dinner you ate on the clock. It's for almost $1,100. You expect me to reimburse you for this? This bill is beyond offensive. And here's a receipt I sent them.
It's got to be real. If you have the receipt.
It's pretty great. Now go down. So there's the receipt. If we can maybe see that while I read the next parts, it'd be kind of good. Maybe make that smaller, Darren.
There were just two people at this dinner too, and they went over 1,000 on it.
First, what the hell were you doing in Manhattan? Does my girl live there? You should have told me. I know New York, Queens. Second, you went to Nello? You couldn't find a cheaper restaurant? Who orders plates at $3.25 a pop? Ever hear of a salad? Besides, Andre, the owner, is a friend. The character of the horny waiter in my Italian comedy, Togli Cuglione dalla mia zuppa, roughly translated, get your testicles out of my soup, is based on him. He would have comped the whole meal.
Togli Cuglione dalla mia zuppa.
Third, how many people were at this dinner? I count 4 entrees, 3 of them with white truffle as the main ingredient. Simple red sauce, too good for you? Someone thinks they're fancy. That's too much truffle for any man, even me, and I guarantee my palate is more sophisticated than you. Bobby Flay's my neighbor. And fourth, why were you dining in? Don't detectives eat food in a parked van? There's a reason why you can't spell stakeout without takeout. Wordplay. Submitting a bill this size is another example of your gross incompetence. Thank God I fired your ass. But to show I'm not a bad guy, against the advice of counsel, I'm willing to split the bill with JetBlue. After all, I only hired you because they dropped the ball in the first place. I've been a model JetBlue frequent flyer for over a decade. Submit an invoice to them, and I guarantee they'll play. Hope you die soon, D. Penny. And so, then, of course, they go to the next email immediately. Then God Lucy had to respond to JetBlue. Subject is reimbursement. This is just at JetBlue that Gene God Lucy submitted this. Attached, please find an invoice for services rendered. Sorry we couldn't boil this lobster a little longer.
I love that we don't need Dan Penny on this correspondence. So you just send it straight to that.
They say G2 Godlewski investigation is between us. Then of course I attach
the invoice. Go to Stephanie at JetBlue.
Big and small, and that's the invoice I sent to JetBlue.
Sorry, it says 528 JetBlue. Oh.
I like that it's marked past due.
That's a nice touch for sure.
So then he submitted that to JetBlue, and surprise, surprise, nothing back from JetBlue.
Huh.
So then, cut to a little later, Eugene Godlucy emails Dan Penny back and sees JetBlue on this. You can go straight to hell, Penny. I received your check for $528.39, half the dinner receipt for when I was in New York. While I appreciate the money, did you really have to embarrass me like that? Writing pay to the order of handjob Godluski on the check was really not cool. Your little gang gave me a lot of problems down at the bank. The manager had me filling out paperwork for an hour to prove it was me. Maybe late for a work lunch I had at Islands. I keep a table there. I lost my
Keep the table at Islands.
Also, as you suggested, I sent JetBlue my receipt, but I still haven't heard back from them. Was that a gag, too? I know 5 bags of limes, $500, isn't a lot to a producer. But I need that money. Not to tug at your heartstrings. I'm pretty sure you don't have one. But my brother's leg has gone from bad to worse.
The brothers. Oh, no. The unhandsome brother's bad leg is getting worse.
The leg doctor says he needs a surgery. Something with his veins, I don't know. So there's that. Also, I told my brother you called him not handsome in your last interview. And he was so wounded, he started huffing paint again.
Oh.
He was 11 days dry, and because of you, he's off the wagon. It's not his fault he's not a looker in the family. Hope dunking on him was worth it. I know this is all fun and games to you, but this is my life.
Two imaginary grown-ups sending these letters back and forth while JetBlue is CC'd on all of them. Really insane. Really insane.
It's nuts. It's nuts. The money from JetBlue would go a long way to getting him cleaned up. I can't lose Jeb, his name, to paint. You said you guaranteed JetBlue would pay. Were you full of it? Rumor has it you're a big shot. Follow up with him and prove it. Stay safe, G2, Gene got Lucy. It's between us. P.S. Well, you wrote the memo on the check was also completely out of bounds. I didn't see your joke until after I handed it to the teller. Thank God she had a sense of humor. Then I attached the check. And the memo.
And why would Dan Penny think it's a good idea to write in the little note section, "I have a gun"? What kind of insane, disturbed brain would come up with such a thing?
I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good.
Hand job.
I like he's got a check. I clearly had some time on my hands at the last back in February.
Oh man!
But the fact that got to JetBlue and they were looking at that, and what are they supposed to expect from that bill that he sent him? It's crazy. And yet,
the invoice.
And as I said probably last week, how could it not be real to them? How could it not be real? Only a lunatic would send these things CC these things to JetBlue.
Oh man,
so that's pretty good. We should probably stop it there. Let's stop it there. There's more next week we can do, but that's pretty good for now.
All right, that's fine by me. Beggars can't be choosers. Those are spectacular. It really does. It really does my ample belly some good to laugh like that, because it really tightens things up for me. Oh my God, that's insane.
I promise next week the conclusion.
For all you know, you don't know when Stephanie or Michael's going to weigh in from JetBlue headquarters.
They could. It's been a couple months, but yeah, I haven't heard from them. But tomorrow, next week will be the conclusion of what we had going on.
Well, hopefully,
I'm worried about his brother's decline.
Yeah, Jeb.
Poor Jeb.
It's gone from bad to worse.
Ugly Jeb and the bad and the bad peg.
And the vein issues.
Something with veins. I don't know. Something like that.
So there's that.
I have a gun.
And so we have a few more next week, and that'll be it.
All right, very good. We'll cut it off there.
You, Donovan. Then you're next, buddy.
Coming up next week, we'll have the conclusion to the JetBlue letters. Mm-hmm. Gary and definitely Donovan and maybe Gary will do their duet, acoustic or otherwise, of Easy Lover. And we'd like to hear from you, the BTLs and Monkeys, a little bit. What's on your brain? What do you want us to kibitz about? Any subjects you wish for us to tackle? Let us know. But be sure you kiss Gary's ass.
Don't forget, you got to kiss the ring. That's exactly right. Otherwise, it's not going to get through.
It goes straight into the trash bin. Right. Anything else, Gary? Was this an all right show?
It was excellent. I have a gun. It's so ridiculous.
Donovan,
I love it. And I love how instead of saying money, it's always a different food.
Oh God!
A bag of 5 bags of limes. That's $500.
Sorry, we couldn't boil this lobster a little longer.
It's always these things like they each person is now talking down to the other person. It's always explaining what that means. That kind of thing is pretty good. And I think by looking back, it's been a few months. Looking back, I liked a lot that Dan Penny had to not only say I'm not paying this receipt, but then embarrass. Then he had to embarrass Godlewski.
Track down what I forget what the handle is. It's I think it's Dan Penny Esquire on Twitter. and Snoop's Godlewski also on Twitter. Give him a follow so you can stay tuned there, and we'll look for more Sheck in the 50s as the BTLs and Monkeys fill those in. Much to get to here. Many good times await. And in the meantime, I guess that's it, right, Fee?
Play the music, Gary.
Play it. Play the Ewok song. Sing it loud. The Ewoks are telling you in song that everything's just fine. You know, there's a lot of ugliness outside your front door. But for now, these next few seconds, listen to the Ewoks sing and realize it's going to be okay.
Could you ever party like the Ewoks do at the end of Return of the Jedi when there's a Jedi Knight on fire, not 10 feet from them? Can you ever do that?
Well, it's grotesque, and it's the same as John McClane and his wife at the end of Die Hard 2. You know, her plane is saved at the last second and lands safely, and they have to land it. They don't bring out the jet runway. They just have them unload down the steps out onto the snowy airfield, and they're celebrating and cracking wise, and they're making out and everything. Never mind the fact that they're literally standing on the burnt corpses of the plane that crashed there about 45 minutes ago.
Why does this keep happening to us? And then
can you believe it?
Back of the car.
Give me your lips.
Previous Chris was the same thing. A building was destroyed, basically. Dozens dead. And there was bazooka, there was tank, and she's like, and they make out. They make out.
Yeah, same thing. Riggs gets shot in that ship, and he's cracking wise, laying there dead. Meantime, his new girlfriend just got murdered and tossed into the bottom of the sea. He's still cracking wise. Riggs and Murtaugh. What about the dead broad? Who's only dead because she decided to make time with you, Riggs. You don't care.
Not that she would be still alive. That's absolutely right. Blessings to you. Blessings to your family.
Best to Jennifer and her.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to us all. Another fine episode of Daves of Thunder is hereby finished. Until next week, thanks so much, BTLs and Monkeys. It's been a thin slice of heaven.